the Supreme Being or the Super Soul act as a friend, and Lord Shri Krishna himself, he will be clearing, he will explain it in the forthcoming verses. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, the Super Soul seated in the heart along with the living entity. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, he takes the verse also for the reference. Samane Vrikshe, same tree, the body is compared to as tree. Samane Vrikshe Purusho Nimagno, Anishaya Sochati Muhyamanaha, Jushtam Yada Pashyati Anam Anyamesham, Asya Mahimanamiti Vitishokaha. So the two birds, very beautiful analogy, because it is very difficult to see the soul, to perceive the soul, to conceive, it is very difficult. Soul is so sushma, so minute, and it cannot be seen. Soul cannot be seen or appreciated by material senses. So that's why these analogies, Lord Shri Krishna here also, he is taking the analogy, vasansi, garments, clothes, just to understand how body is different from the living person. We are wearing shirt and coat, somebody is wearing, but we are not these garments, we are not the shirt. So Lord Shri Krishna is taking an example, analogy, and in the scriptures, in the Mundak Upanishad, Shvetashvatar Upanishad, they confirms this, that Super Soul, Katha Upanishad, Samane Vrikshe, Purusho Nimagno, Anishaya Sochayati Muhyamanaha. Both Super Soul and individual soul, individual part and parcel, living entity, living being who is part and parcel, who is part of the Supreme Being, part of the Supreme Whole, part of the Super Soul. They are sitting, they are situated in the region of the heart, in the heart. That's why Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing the source of the energy, and in the previous purports also Swami Srila Prabhupada explained the source of energy in the body is the heart. The body is deriving energies for its working. The various parts of the bodies, they are deriving energy for their working from the heart. So both soul and super soul, they are seated on the same branch of the tree of the body. The body is compared to as tree, and both soul and super soul, they are seated on the same branch, on one bird. The individual soul is busy eating the fruits of the tree, whatever fruits are there, because every tree, they will have different fruit. So one is captivated, the one bird is captivated by the fruits of the tree and is busy eating the fruits of the tree. Whatever taste, every fruit has a different taste. We have experienced that in our life. Apple has a different taste, banana has a different taste, strawberry, like that. And sometimes some people, their life is so miserable because of their previous activities. That's why in the previous verse it is very important to atone for one's sinful activities before one die. Sometimes people, they ask this question, why this child, what was his fault? Immediately after taking birth, he got so deadly disease, and he didn't lived his life, and he's dying in such a precarious way. So one was carrying those sinful reactions from the past life. So sometimes the fruits of the tree can be very, very bitter. So, but one bird here both soul, individual soul, and the super soul, they are compared to as two birds sitting on the same tree. And one bird is fully captivated and is fully engrossed. He is fully captivated, engrossed in eating the fruits of the tree. And the other bird is simply witnessing. The other bird, Paramatma, and they are qualitatively they are one. They are both of them are birds. That's why this analogy is taken. Because the living entity are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, so they are qualitatively one with the Supreme. And the Supreme Being, the Super Soul, is the best friend of every living entity because they are his part and parcel. Even Arjunji is part and parcel of Lord Shri Krishna, and Duryodhanji is also part and parcel of Lord Shri Krishna. Both are parts of the whole. But Duryodhanji is at the present moment he is contaminated. Lord do not, because the soul cannot be killed. The living entity cannot be killed. Tatha dehanta praptir. Everyone takes up or accepts a new body after death. So where is the question or possibility of killing anybody? So truly speaking, even Lord do not, when he kills, when in his various avtaras, when he kills some demon, actually he kills the ahankara. It is explained by all the acharyas, all the spiritual masters, all the authentic, authorized spiritual masters, and that is the verdict. That is the conclusion of the scriptures. Lord, do not kill anybody because nobody can be killed as such. And the Supreme Lord, He loves every living entity more than anyone in this world. How one can sever his own part from the body? How we can cut off our hand or leg, and will we be happy in doing so? So even the Supreme Lord, in killing anybody, any demon also, He is the one who gets more pained. But he does so, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. He does so to save the other parts, paritranaya sadhunam, those who are righteous. So, one is captivated. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master. The super soul is the master in all respect. And his consciousness is Sarvagya, all knowledge, past, present and future. And he is different. He never comes under ignorance, Achyuta. So although they are friends, still one is the master and other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. So nityo nityanam chetnas chetnanam ekoj bahunam vidyati kaman. So after eating fruits of one body, the bird is not satisfied. Is full of anxiety as it is explained. Samane vrikshe, although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But in some way or other, if he turns his face to his friend who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. So here Arjunji, he is compared to as the bird, eating bird. Krishna is the witnessing bird and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and other is the servant. And forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. So after eating fruits of one tree, the bird is not satisfied. After living life, material life in a particular body, we are not satisfied and we develop different other desires. I want a body like that. I want to be rich. I was not rich in this life. I want to be educated. I was not educated in this life. I want to be beautiful. And the witnessing bird, who is the friend of the eating bird, the bird is engrossed, is fully captivated by the fruits of the tree, but is engrossed with anxiety. The eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness. Shokaha, Vita Shokaha. So we are always in this world, though our actual nature is Sachidanandaha, but we are always experiencing Niranandaha, Asat Achit Nirananda. Why? Because we are forgetful of our relationship. Because we are forgetfulness of this relationship. Why the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. Because we are forgetful of our relationship with the Supreme, and because of that, we are not satisfied with the fruits of one tree, and life after life we are desiring new fruits, and because of that we are changing trees. The soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and the super soul, who is the friend, is somehow fulfilling the desires, but he is fulfilling the desires as per one's prarabdha, one's karmas in the previous lives, as per one's pious and impious deeds. One gets another body, and then one is again engrossed or is fully captivated by the fruits of that tree. One, as soon as one gets a body, one is fully out of ignorance. He start acting in that body, start eating the fruits of that tree, and in the end of the life one is again, and while doing so also, throughout the life one is completely engrossed with anxiety because he is forgetful of his relationship with his dearmost friend, the super soul, the witnessing bird. And if somehow or other, very important point in this verse, जुष्टम यदा पश्यति अन्यमीशम, जुष्टम यदा पश्यति अन्यमीशम अस्य महिमानाम, जुष्टम यदा पश्यति अन्यमीशम अस्य महिमानाम इति वीतशोकः. जुष्टम यदा पश्यति अन्यम, if somehow but in some way or other he turns his face to his friend who is the Lord and knows his glories. If some way or other he turns his face to his friend who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. The Supreme Lord has got unlimited glories. And truly speaking, because we are part and parcel, every living entity, they are also glorious because they are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But at the present moment, they are suffering under the mana shashthani indriyani, prakriti sthani karshati. So at the present moment, they are under the control of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. And because of that, they are struggling very hard. Aparayam itastvanya prakritim vidhi me param jeev bhuta maha baho yayedam dharyate jagat. So the living entities are part of the superior energy, Devi Prakriti. But because of their forgetfulness of their relationship with the Supreme, because of their because of the forgetfulness of their relationship with their dearmost friend, the super soul, the supreme being, who is situated in the region of the heart with the living entities, they are suffering very much in this material world by various kinds of miseries. Janam Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, then Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik Kaleshas. So, in some way or other, if he turns his face to his friend who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. So, Arjunji is very, very fortunate that he has turned his face towards the Supreme Lord, and hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord. So we are also in one way very fortunate, like Arjunji. We are hearing Bhagavad Gita the way Arjunji heard, and we are hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee. If we read, if on a daily basis or on any basis, if we read Bhagavad Gita, the instructions of Bhagavad Gita from the mouth of his pure devotee, Swami Srila Prabhupada, his genuine representative in this world, then we can also, by understanding the glories of the Supreme Lord, we can also be free from lamentation. We can also be free from lamentation the way Arjunji. Thus, hearing from Krishna, he understands the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna. So Krishna is not only friend of Arjunji, he is friend of every living entity. Suhridam sarva bhutana gyatva mam shantim rechati. Lord Shri Krishna will explain in the forthcoming verses, he is the friend of every living entity. And anyone who will turn his face towards Krishna will surely become free from lamentation. So may we also understand this wonderful science, and if we are also able to take instructions and guidance from Lord Shri Krishna the way Arjunji is taking, then we will also become free from vita shokaha, from lamentations, material desires, and we can be situated in peace. Gyatva mam shantim richati. So Arjuna is advised here by the Lord not to lament for the bodily changes of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight, so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. So Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing he should be happy, truly speaking. To kill their bodies in righteous fight, he should not lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather Bhishma and his teacher Drona, but he should be happy. To kill their bodies in righteous fight, so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. Because in the past they have acted in wrong way. Because in the past they supported Duryodhanji when Draupadi ji was insulted in the assembly. So their bodies are now contaminated, and one who lays down his life on sacrificial altar. In the previous ages, there were various sacrifices, animal sacrifices. Ashwamedham, Gavalambham, Palpatrakam, all these things are Kalopancha Vivarjayat, all these things are not in the Kali Yuga, they are forbidden. Because even in those sacrifices, those animals, they used to attain higher status of life. Because they were sacrificed in the sacrificial arena, on the sacrificial altar, And for the Kshatriyas, a righteous fight, a fight for re-establishment of the principles of religion is actually a sacrificial arena or sacrificial altar. And if one lays down his life on the sacrificial altar in the proper battlefield, battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions. One is at once cleansed of all past sinful activities if one lays down his life. So people do not understand. Sometimes they criticize that why animal sacrifices were performed, but because the Brahmanas, it was actually done to test whether the Brahmanas or the priest, they have chanted the mantras properly, and if they had chanted all the mantras properly, then the animal, cow or horse, and in those sacrifices also old animals were taken, and they used to rejuvenate their body, they used to get higher body immediately. It was seen that they were promoted. But because in the Kali Yuga all those rituals cannot be performed properly, one cannot chant Vedic mantras properly in this age. That's why all those things, sannyasam, palapatrakam, ashwamedham, gavalambham, sannyasam, palapatrakam, devarena, sutopattim, utotapattim, kalopancha vivarjayat, all these things, all these 5 things are actually not allowed. Vivarjayat should not these should not be done in this age. And in the Kali Yuga, actually, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord is recommended by the Supreme Lord Himself in His Avatara, as Lord Chaitanya, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that is the sacrifice meant for this age. Japa Yagya, Kalautad Hari Kirtanat. So Swami Srila Prabhupada, he is writing, one who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of the. So Arjuna should be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight, because the fight was for the re-establishment of the principles of religion. And the protector of the dharma and the friend of every living entity, the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna, He Himself was present on the side of Arjunji, and he is instructing Arjunji to fight for the proper cause, to act as a surgeon and remove the contaminated part from the whole, from the world, from the society, by killing. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. It is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to higher status of life. So very, very beautiful verses. Veda vinashinam nityam yainamajam abhyayam katham sa purusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. And vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naro aparani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. So we read 2 verses, 21st and 22nd, and very wonderful example, analogy Swami Srila Prabhupada took from Kathopanishad and Shvetashvatar Upanishad. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno anishaya sochati muhyamanaha jushtam yada pashyati anyamisham asya mahimanam iti bita shokaha. So very, very beautiful verses. So with prayers, may Lord Shri Krishna, may Lord Chaitanya bless all of us. So I would like to stop here. We'll take a few more verses in our next session. Till then, Hare Krishna. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्रोत्रशत शिष्यपति दिवान के सभा चरणार विंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय. All glories to His Divine Grace. अभय चरणार विंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद. All glories to Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. All glories to Holy Name. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.